Hey, this Thinker. It's dusk. You're all alone, way out in Alaska, out by a river doing some metal detecting, and you hear this.
Oh, jeez.
Now, if you're like that guy, he packed up and left right then and there. I believe I would have too. So what I want to do with this video, I want to take these sounds and compare them to the usual suspects. Wolves, coyotes, dogs, bears, whatever people are coming up with, to see if we can find a match or see if we can find anything interesting about these sonic signatures. Let's check it out. Hey, this Thinker, what is going on, everybody? This is a pretty interesting clip. This guy is finding all sorts of stuff. This video is called Best Bigfoot Clips from Alaska, Last 8 Years. It's posted by Metal Detecting in Alaska. This guy is a doctor, I believe, and it's up around Fairbanks. Come give him a subscribe and a like. Let's watch this second. He found some massive footprints.
Where they are. It's like 16, 17, 18-inch footprints. And they go up.
And what I wished he would have done is measure the distance in between these footprints. Because if these are 4, 5, or 6 foot strides, that's pretty impossible for a human to hoax out in deep mud like this. Not without making, a ton of extra tracks along the side of it. And he found more.
We have to cross this giant little mud bog, so he crosses, and I'm just about to cross, and he says, "Hey, I thought I saw some kind of footprint." So we started looking, and check this out, guys. This is freaking crazy. Look at this.
So he finds more footprints. I believe he's out there with his grandson. And what's interesting about that, if we look ahead a little further, there. His grandson had already ridden over this little muddy spot here on his bicycle. So let's say his grandson's 140 pounds. Let's say the bike's about 20, 25 pounds. That's 165, 170 pounds that just went over this little muddy patch. And look, you don't really even see the bike tracks. But these prints, they're about, I don't know, an inch deep. So something really heavy made these prints. Then he and another buddy, they're out riding dirt bikes, and they spot this.
Icebergs going by.
That's his buddy spotting this wood structure over there. The guy does a double take.
Oh, wow.
And there's a good close-up of it. So there's weird activity going on in the area. But here's the part that really interests me. Let's have a look.
Well, it's getting dark on me. Down to my last target. Looks like a little wood, or... What's that? Whoa, did you guys hear that? It sounded like something howling. Still hear it. Sweet little box. Boy, that freaked me out.
So the poor guy is trying to film the show for his YouTube channel, He's trying to be cool. He's talking to his audience, but he can't because something out there is freaking him out. Let's keep watching.
All right, so I'm working my way back. Whoa, did you hear that? Oh man, something just threw something in the water right beside me.
Okay, so that was a big splash. So here's the thing. Something out there is strong enough to throw. I mean, that was a big splash. That was a big honking rock. So something is strong enough to be out there far enough that he can't see it, yet can still hit the river behind him with a big rock. So somebody or something is ushering this guy out of there, and it works. He's gone. So now let's go look at these sonic fingerprints to see what we can make of these howls. Okay, so here we are looking at what all the sounds from that video look like. These are the two most interesting vocalizations. Let's listen to them before I clean them up.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so here are those two vocalizations cleaned up as best as I could get them. Let's have a listen.
Oh, jeez.
So we can hear them better, clearer, but the danger of cleaning up audio is that as you clean, as much background noise as there was with this one, there's a danger of losing some of the sound you're trying to save, which is what happened here. But what we see is even more interesting. And let's focus on this guy right here. Now look at this. It's just this long, sustained tube of sound here. Let's listen again. Did you hear that at the end? This, ooh, ah, it gets loud up here. I'm going to loop that. Let you hear that. So it's kind of what I would call a yodel, you know, where his voice goes from a low chest register, this, and then it transitions up into like what I would guess would be like a head voice, a higher range. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to quickly explain this, but what we're seeing here is freaky beyond words. So on the left is the mournful howl with its ending high yodel thing. On the right is my sad yodel attempt. And just quickly so you'll understand, mine has all these extra bands here because it's like natural harmonics. You know, like my little studio isn't soundproofed. So this is my voice bouncing off the walls and the ceilings and the monitors and all the instruments and everything around me, all happening at the same time, kind of like a natural reverb maybe. And this on the left, it was a long distance away from the microphone. So that explains that. And so when we're looking at mine, we're just going to be looking at the bottom band. Now here is the thing I really wanted to show you. Looking on the left, we see it goes along. Notice that the two sounds aren't connected. Also notice that there are two sounds being made at the same time. Well, guess what? We humans can't make two sounds at the same time, you know, unless we're doing like Mongolian throat singing or whatever it's called. And that is why I did this yodel, because I wanted you to see that when my voice is going along, when my voice transitioned from the lower chest voice up into the higher head register voice, we get to see that transition and we see that they're connected. It was one continuous signal, one continuous sound the entire time, and that I wasn't able to make the two sounds at the same time. So the fact that whoever or whatever it was over here on the left made a low sound and a high sound at the exact same time, I'm telling you, it's inexplicable. And I write about this in my book. The only way I can explain it is it's like it has either just superior, insane control of its vocal cords, or it has two sets of vocal cords. Now, here's where a skeptic would say, well, there's two creatures out there there was a second one making this high-pitched sound, and it just happened to be at the same time. Well, zooming in on this a little, look, you can see that the endings of these, they're the same length, they start at the same time, end at the same time, they're the same intensity, which means they came from like pretty much the exact same location, and they're both pitched down at the same angle. All those things combined lead me to believe that these two sounds were made by the same creature at the same time.
And for anyone thinking this second part here was edited in later, it would stick out like a sore thumb. And anybody who knew what to look for would bust it in a second. Can you tell? I've dropped in kind of a little owl hoot sound I made. Do you see it there? Here, have a listen. So did you hear it? Did you hear the little whoo? Here it is. Now, do you see any differences in the sound, in the background of the sound that I dropped in versus the original background? All of this extra here. So it doesn't match at all, which is why I call these sonic fingerprints. You cannot fake this. Now, here is the second of three things I want to show you. I want to look at the second vocalization. Let's listen to it again. Here, I'll take the oh sheesh off of that. I listen when it goes woo. There is all this extra stuff happening up here. Now, I know human voices can break up, you know, when we're singing or yelling, but this is more than breaking up. There's extra things happening in there. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up on something else very bizarre, and I'm going to show you using my my police lineup here of sonic fingerprints from 1, 2, 3, 4 different known species and 2 total unknowns on the right, and show you some similarities. On the left, coyote. Let's zoom in a little. Dog. Two wolves singing their hearts out. And that would be a thinker thunker howling into the night. I got a little carried away there, went a little long. But, and here is the metal detector mystery creature. And we'll listen to the last one here in a minute. But here's something I wanted to show you. Zooming in on the coyote, we notice that its voice kind of has to ramp up. Listen to it. And then on the end, it winds down. And with the dog, as you would suspect, since they're both canines, a similar pattern. Its voice has to ramp up. And then it had that yodel right here. And then a wind down. And the wolves, let me get over here to them. Wolf has a nice long wind up till it gets to the note it wants. Then a big wind down. Now on mine, what was interesting, and the reason I wanted you to see this is because I did not try to do a ramp up. I tried to just make one, hit a note and hold it as best I could. Listen. It's barely perceptible, yet when you're looking here, you see it. Now, what's interesting about that is over here on the 4th, our metal detector. Bigfoot or creature. There is no ramp up. Whatever this species is, it starts at the note it wants or the frequency that it wants. It maintains that frequency, pretty much like a shelf of sound, and then ends down here with this 2 sounds at once thing. Now, I can tell you, I've listened to creatures all over the planet that you might hear vocalizing at night, and never will you find a known species that makes a sound like this. Not with birds, not with lions, big cats. Nothing makes a sound signature, a sonic fingerprint like this, where it's just this shelf of sound. And what's interesting is I have found this shelf of sound or this sonic fingerprint before, and I'm going to let you listen to these last 2. Here we go. And this last one, again, no ramp up. It just starts with a frequency or a note and just holds it until the end. Now that one was a better recording, maybe nearer to the source.
And I bet if you had a pet in the room, I bet they responded to this second one, because you can just hear how enormous, how voluminous that sound is. And you can just imagine what a monster of a beast it would take to make a sound like that. And no, Hollywood cannot generate organic signals or organic sounds like this. The only way Hollywood sound engineers make monster noises or whatever is they take like a mixture of creatures, elephants, bears, all sorts of different sounds, and kind of fuse and layer them together. So, and if that's what was happening here, we would see ramp ups and signs of other creatures, but that's not the case. Listen to them again. So whatever made these last two sounds on the end, I'm not saying this proves that they are forest giants, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call them, but I'm saying it's proof that there is something unknown out there that is very large, has extremely complex vocal cords, and is capable of making very loud, very intense vocalizations that travel over a long distance. So call them what you will. So our doctor/metal detector enthusiast recorded something really unique that night, really bizarre, and apparently extremely frightening. And I wonder if it doesn't cause him to think twice about where he goes at night by himself and how long he stays out there. And so would you if you ever encountered this face to face. All right, everybody, that is all I've got. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for buying my hat and my books and T-shirts and beanies and all that stuff. And as always, none of this would be possible without my patrons and my YouTube members. Thank you so very much. All right, everybody, please take care.